Today's story is read with permission from Scholastic. Thank you.
Part 3 of the Geronimo Stilton series with The Cheese Burglar, read with permission by Scholastic. Stilton is a thief. I had to admit Poirot's suspicions were right on the snout. Ash Dow was sneaking away. Weird. Poirot quickly followed Ash. I jumped up to follow Poirot. Benjamin and Bugsy Wugsy jumped up to follow me. Professor Reinrat noticed we were on the move. He jumped up to follow Benjamin and Bugsy Wugsy. A moment later, Poirot lost Ash Dow, and we lost Poirot. Somehow, I found myself at booth 14, Professor Reinrat's booth. All it took was a quick glance to realize what had happened. The display case containing Samuel Stinktail's rind was empty. Poirot scurried toward me. "Stop, you cheddar-faced thief," he yelled. Then he realized it was me. "Stilton, don't tell me you've taken up stealing." At that moment, Professor Reinrat appeared behind him. Then he saw me next to the empty display case. He started shouting too. "So it was no accident that you set off my alarm this morning," Professor Reinrat squeaked. "You stole my precious rind. You are a thief, Stilton." Security agents and noisy rind collectors surrounded me instantly. Flora Ratson started to interrogate me. "Mr. Stilton, confess, where did you hide Mr. Reinrat's precious rind? And how did you avoid setting off the alarm?" It wasn't me," I stuttered. "I was following my friend Hercule Poirot, who was following the real thief." Here's a map of the routes. Looks kind of confusing. Hercules stroked his whiskers thoughtfully. "Perhaps the real thief is playing dirty tricks on us. He's making Geronimo look guilty so we don't suspect him or her." The other collectors scurried back to their booths to check on their own rinds. They had all disappeared. Only booth 13, mine, had not been robbed. How weird. "It's Stilton," someone shouted. "He's the thief. Give us back our rinds, you rat burglar." "That's enough," Ms. Ratson snapped. "It's time to call the police." Crusty cheese rinds. I was being falsely accused, and I had no way to prove my innocence. I was trapped like a rat in a maze. I was going to jail for sure. The picture says cheese rind thief. Black gloves and sunglasses. All of a sudden, I recognized a familiar squeak. "Stop, everybody. It's not what you think." "That's right," another little squeak exclaimed. "Uncle G is not a thief." "Benjamin, Bugsy Wugsy," I cried, hugging them. "Where have you been?" "We followed the thief, Uncle Geronimo," Benjamin exclaimed. "Wait a minute. Who are these mouselets?" Flora Ratson interrupted. "My nephew and his friend," I said proudly, "and I'm sure they'll prove my innocence." "Let's hear it then," Ms. Ratson replied. "This better be good, or you're in hot fondue, Stilton." "We have proof," Benjamin started to explain. "This morning, a female rodent introduced herself to us with a bogus name. She said she was Flora Ratson. She gave us a security system for Uncle Geronimo's display case, and she told us how to set the alarm." "What?" Flora Ratson objected. "I did no such thing." Bugsy Wugsy continued. "Right away, Benjamin and I wondered why she used spray on the system's keypad and why she wore dark sunglasses even inside the convention hall." "I wondered about that too," one of the collectors exclaimed. "During the chase, the thief dropped her glasses," Benjamin exclaimed. "Here, Ms. Ratson, try them on. And then look at the keypad." "Holy cheese," Flora Ratson squeaked. "With these on, I can tell which 5 keys Professor Reinrat has pressed." Bugsy Wugsy nodded. "And you can tell the order, too. The first one is the darkest, then they get lighter as you get closer to the end of the combination. So the spray was used to record the fingerprints, not erase them," a collector with brown fur said. "That's why my paw was sticky," an elegant rodent added. "But that imposter said the keypad would record our unique paw prints," another collector said. That's just one of the many lies, she told, Benjamin replied. Once a combination had been chosen, she used black gloves to avoid leaving her own paw prints. Here they are. See, what did I tell you, Stilton? Hercule interrupted. He showed me his yellow gloves. I had already figured out that part of her trick. The hunt for a thief. As more and more facts were uncovered, I felt myself relax like mozzarella melting in the sun. Benjamin and Bugsy Wugsy had saved my fur big time. It looks like we owe you an apology, Mr. Stilton, Flora Ratson said. We suspected you unfairly. I blushed. Oh, please, it's nothing, I mumbled. Now I understand why the Ashdow Company provided their security systems for free, Ms. Ratson went on. It was all a trick. Benjamin, Bugsy Wugsy, and I looked at one another. The name of the company reminded us of something, but what? Hello? The thief has disappeared with all our precious cheese rinds, Professor Rhinrat reminded us. My priceless stinktail rind is forever lost. I can't believe what I'm hearing, Poirot exclaimed. Okay, scrape the cheese out of your ears, because I'm only going to say this once. The crook cannot have escaped. How can you be so sure about that? The professor asked. Because I am a great detective. Isn't that right, my dear Stilton? Before I could reply, he went on. While I was pretending to follow Ashdow, I locked this place up tighter than Ratley's bank. Our sly thief cannot have gone far. By cheese, I think I've got it, Uncle Geronimo, Benjamin exclaimed suddenly. Ashdow is an anagram for... Clue number 7. Rearrange the letters in Ashdow. What do you get? The shadow. But of course, Ashdow is an anagram for shadow. The shadow is an elusive thief who had made my snout spin on many other occasions. And squeaking of my snout, at that moment something landed right on it. Ouch! Bugsy Wugsy picked it up. It was a black button with a white 0 in the middle. Look, Benjamin cried, up there. We all looked up. A blonde rodent was climbing the rafters of the exhibition hall, and there was a big open window in the building ceiling. She's getting away, Miss Ratton shouted. The shadow smirked and kept on climbing. We could hear the sound of a helicopter outside. Then we heard Poirot squeak, Don't mess with Hercule Poirot. He pulled out a yellow slingshot and a dozen bananas. Watch out, you sneaky thief. He aimed his slingshot. The shadow was just about to grab a rope and jump onto the helicopter when she slipped on a banana peel. The bag she was carrying slid from her paw. Be careful, Miss Shadow, I shouted nervously. Even though she was a thief, I didn't want her to fall and break a paw. But the shadow had already grabbed the rope and she was swinging on board the chopper. Burn banana bread, exclaimed Poirot, grabbing the bag as it fell toward us. He ripped it open. All the stolen rinds were inside. By now, the shadow was safely on the helicopter. She wrinkled her snout at us and then blew me a kiss. What a sly and slippery rodent. The second rind. The shadow had escaped, but at last we all got our cheese rinds back. I invited everyone over to celebrate. The only rodent who couldn't make it was Hercule. He said he had an important appointment he simply could not miss. After dessert, Professor Rhinrat gave me a little wooden box. Please accept this small gift as an apology. I shouldn't have accused you, Mr. Stilton. I couldn't believe my eyes. But this is, I stuttered. One of Samuel Stinktail's cheese rinds, Rat finished. I never told anybody there were 2. I wanted to be the only rodent to own his rinds. But now I know there's another mouse worthy of collecting them. My whiskers were shaking with emotion. How can I ever thank you? Professor Rhinrat smiled. By putting that precious rind in a safe place. I nodded and scurried over to my display case. Then I turned paler than a slice of mozzarella. My cheese rinds have been stolen, I cried. At that moment, a yellow garbage can rolled into the room. To get your rind back, insert 2 bananas, a sign on the can read. Better make it 3, Hercule Poirot, I exclaimed. You get out of there this minute. The lid lifted up and Hercules' smirking snout appeared. Oh, hello, did you like my little prank? I couldn't help laughing. Hercule is a terrible prankster, but he's also a really good friend. That's it. I hope you enjoyed Geronimo Stilton's The Cheese Burglar.